While cheating on me, my husband wanted a child to fix our marriage, so I left and filed for divorce. Now, he and his family are calling me and pleading with me to come back. Liam and I have been married for 3 years after being together for 5. Liam and I met in college. We began dating during our last term and have been together ever since. Our relationship has had its ups and downs, just like any other couples. He recently told me that he wanted to start trying to have a baby because he thought it was time to start a family. This was after our 3rd wedding anniversary. Indeed, he was right. Both of us were doing well in our careers. We were in our mid-20s, and we had been together for a long time, so it was a good time to have a child. When I said yes, I tried for a few months and finally got pregnant 2 months ago. I was thrilled, and he looked happy too, but I didn't find out until a week ago that it was all a show. The only people who know about the baby so far are our families and a few close friends. We haven't told anyone else yet. So last week, when I saw a message on his phone from a friend asking if he was okay with the pregnancy, I was interested. And Liam had told me that he wanted to keep the pregnancy a secret for a few months, so I didn't understand why he told his friend about it. He was on his phone when he got that message, so I could have asked him about it, but I was pretty sure he wasn't going to tell me the truth. Later that night, I chose to look through his phone. I had to search because my gut told me that if I asked him about it, he would not give me a straight answer and might even delete all the messages, so I would not have been able to find out either. I'm glad I went through his phone without telling him, because of what I found in that chat with his coworker. I think he would not have admitted to it himself if I didn't already know the truth. It took me a while to figure out what was going on, but here it is. Liam was talking to one of his coworkers about a new worker who had just started. Since he had been teaching her, they had become good friends. Let's call her Elena. I met her at a party and thought nothing was wrong because my husband was friendly with her there. I didn't think they were anything more than friends, so I didn't doubt him. But when I read the texts he sent to his work friend, I realized he was just putting on a front so I wouldn't think anything was wrong. He was actually really interested in her and had told his friend all about it. Gross, because he had said things like, I couldn't stop thinking about her, even when he was with me. And he had admitted that he wouldn't mind if she tried to make a move on him, even though they hadn't done anything yet. Even worse things were said by him after what you thought was the worst thing he could have said. He had also said that he was starting to really dislike me, and that I was making him furious lately. He seemed to enjoy his time with Elena a lot more, so much so that every time he came home to me, he was already looking forward to going back to work. He didn't want to talk to me at all, but he had to because I was pregnant, and he didn't want me to think anything was wrong. Even having to sleep in the same bed with me was awful for him, but he had no choice. His coworker has been trying to talk to him sense into it, and has called him out on his weird behavior. It was wrong of him to be leading me on like this, especially since he knew he was losing interest in me. The worst part was that Elena had only started working for them about 8 months before. I knew this because he had told me about how annoying it was for him to help train a new employee at that time. As far as I remember, our wedding anniversary was 2 months after Elena joined. When he brought up the idea of having a family, Elena was already a part of his life, and they were friends at the time. Seriously, I had no idea why he would want to start a family with me if he had already broken up with her. A few months after our anniversary, he could have changed his mind, but he kept trying to have a baby with me even though he was losing interest in me. I was completely let down, and I had no idea why he would do something so unbelievably cruel to me. I read the texts and scrolled up as much as I could that night for half of the night. When I was done, I put his phone next to him and tried to sleep on the couch, because I couldn't stand to lie next to him. But no matter how hard I tried, I just couldn't fall asleep. When he woke up in the morning, he was shocked to see me on the couch. I really wasn't paying attention, but when he hugged me in the morning, I was so disgusted that I pushed him away and told him he didn't have to act like he loved me anymore, because I knew about Elena and had read all the messages he had been sending to his coworker. I was leaving him. He looked shocked when I pushed him away, but my worst fears were confirmed when he didn't even try to deny anything. That made it even more upsetting for me because he should have at least answered my questions. He just kept staring at the floor after I yelled at him. Since I had been thinking about what to say to him all night, I really couldn't do anything but cry on the couch next to him when the chance came up. However, I was still in love with him and wanted for things to work, but I knew it would not be possible because I did not believe he wanted for them to work. I asked him why he wanted to have a baby with me when he knew he was losing interest in me after crying for a while. It was because I was sure that he had already started feeling something for Elena by the time he mentioned starting a family. And finally, that got him to talk. He told me that he had mentioned having a baby with me because he thought this was just a phase, and that having something to bond over, like a baby, would help him feel closer to me again. In other words, he thought that having a child would make everything better. But it didn't solve anything, which was a shame. He kept falling in and out of love with me, and now he was interested in Elena instead. It's possible that he was just crazy about her because he was tired of being married to me, but all I knew was that he no longer loved me. That man didn't even love me, but because of him, I wasn't pregnant with his child, and it broke my heart. He started to say sorry after telling me that, but I didn't want to hear it. So I packed up a few things and left. All I wanted to do at that point was get away from him. I ended up going to my parents' house because he kept saying sorry, but didn't try to stop me. Once I got there, I finally lost it. They were told everything I found on his phone and what he had said. I also told them I didn't want to go back to him. Even though he was mad, my dad kept his cool and told me that I would be living with them from now on and that he would get anything I needed for my place, so I didn't have to go see him again. My mom called my uncle, who owns a law company, and asked him to put me in touch with a good divorce lawyer as soon as possible so we could start the legal process. There was no turning back now. I was smart enough to take a few screenshots of the conversation between him and his friend. Just to be safe, I also took a few screenshots of the conversation between him and Elena. I do have to say that his conversation with his coworker was much more revealing than his conversations with Elena. He would flirt with her sometimes, and she would flirt back, but they never went too far. They mostly talked about work, but who knows what they did when they were together. It didn't matter what had happened or hadn't happened with Elena. What made me mad was that he had said he wouldn't mind cheating on me if Elena tried to make a move on him. It didn't matter if it was just a thought. The fact that he was even thinking about it was bad enough. That felt like he was actually cheating on me, and let's not forget that he had also said a lot of bad things about me, like how he had grown to dislike me and how he was pretending to love me. He also suggested that we have a baby because he thought that would solve all our problems. I didn't want to go back to him because everything he did was wrong and couldn't be forgiven. But I also didn't want to give up the baby or end my pregnancy just because the dad was a jerk. I was ready to be a mom with or without a husband. I also chose to file for full care of my child until he was old enough to be left alone with his father. What if things went badly? I would agree to visitation rights, but I was not going to give him joint custody. And these are the terms I gave my divorce lawyer so he could begin the process, get the papers ready, and file for the divorce and child custody. There was no way I could have asked for alimony since I worked and made the same amount of money as he did. If you asked me, I thought I had been more than fair. I didn't ask for any settlement money either. All I wanted was a fair split of all the things we owned together. I only wanted child support because, whether he liked it or not, he wanted to have a baby, even though he had already broken up with me. It was just his last-ditch effort to find something we had in common so we could still be together, because he was too cowardly to be honest with me and himself. He most definitely owed me child support, and I thought the divorce terms were fair. I stopped him the day I left for vacation, and he was served a few days later. Those were about 2 days ago. Since then, his family has been calling and texting me non-stop to ask me to come back. I think his parents and brothers know what he's been up to now. In a strange turn of events, he told them what really happened, and even stranger, they still think it makes sense to ask me to come back to him. His family has called me a few times, but I haven't answered. They keep texting me from multiple social media accounts, even though I blocked them. Even though he had been thinking about someone else, they think that he and I can still make it work because he hadn't done anything. Plus, it doesn't hurt him until he actually does what he thinks. The idea of emotional cheating is hard for them to grasp but I haven't tried to explain it to them because it's not my job to do so. They can try all they want, but I know it won't work, and I'm not going back to him. But the only reason I'm here now, having doubts, is because they think it's unfair of me to want full ownership of the child, even if I don't go back to him, because he also wants to be a father, and the child is not mine to claim. The baby has his genes as well. Because he deserves it, even if I don't come back for the sake of our marriage, I should at least think about shared parenting. I'm not sure if I should even think about it or not, or if I should stick to my claim for full custody. Why did Ida want to have full control of my future child? Because my husband had been cheating on me with a coworker. Update 1. Hi there. My parents told me that it's my body and my baby, and that it's up to me to decide what I want to do in the end. Also, Liam did something wrong, not me. So if anyone has to give up something, it has to be him. They are free to appeal my choice to give them full custody if they want to. I'm not going to stop them or fight with them, but the case needs to be heard in court. They won't be able to make me feel bad about what my gut tells me. I believe it would be best for the baby to spend the first few years only with me, and I don't think I will be okay with Liam being a co-parent right now. Right now I hate him so much that I can't stand to look at him. That's why I've decided I want full custody. Co-parenting is not an option. We will have to talk to a counselor first, though, and if that doesn't help, this will have to go to family court. That seems like the only fair way to choose what's right. I believe that they should wait for the court case to finish and then see what happens. I texted them that to get them to stop bothering me all the time. Because, to be honest, his parents and brothers have no right to tell me what's best for my child. For a long time, I got along fine with his family, but now I don't want to be around them if they're going to act like I'm the bad guy for wanting to leave him. The fact that they chose to back Liam also means I don't need their marriage or child advice. Everyone has been trying to get me to believe that what he ordered wasn't so bad, since he didn't actually cheat on me. Yeah, I know it's not my job to tell them that mental cheating is still cheating, and to be honest, I'm too tired from dealing with everything to talk to them about these things either. The only reason I sent them my message was because I just want them to leave me alone. I also told them that the way they've been harassing me online by texting me all the time from different accounts, even after they were stopped, will only make things worse for them in family court, where I will definitely bring it up. Though it's only been a few hours since I sent that message, I don't know if it will stop them from calling me again and again. I really hope it does, though, because things are already really hard for me, especially since I'm pregnant. It's already too much for me without any more trouble from him. He or his lawyer hasn't replied to our letter yet, so I guess it will take some time. They probably would have replied sooner if they had to agree with our rules, but I think they don't. It's been a lot to handle, and I'm glad my family is here with me. Few people have heard about the pregnancy so far, and I'm going to keep it that way, because I don't need a lot of people texting and calling me right now. My parents and close friends are the only ones who know what's going on with Liam and have been there for me as much as they can. A little more than a week has passed since I left home. A few days ago, I told my dad that I wanted to go back to get everything I forgot to pack before I ran away. But he kept his word and told me I didn't need to see Liam again because he would take care of everything. He went over to Liam's house with a few of my friends this weekend because we knew he would be there. They were able to get all of my stuff back without any problems. My friends told me that Liam avoided them the whole time they were there, as if he was afraid of what they would say or how they would act around him. My dad and my friends didn't even notice him while they were there, which was lucky for him. They were just there to get my things, and when they were done, they left. I was really interested in how this was affecting him, so I asked my friends if he had been acting differently. They said that he had only been with them for a few minutes and just seemed tired. It seemed very clear from the way he had given up on looking good that he wasn't doing well right now. He hadn't shaved in a few days, so he had dark circles under his eyes. I've known him for almost 5 years, and know that he cares a lot about how he looks. This makes me think that he is not doing well, and I don't know how to feel about it. I'm trying not to think about it because it makes me feel bad. What has happened can't be changed, and now I need to think about the future. In the second update, Liam and his lawyer finally replied to her plea. To my surprise, they are not only fighting my request for full custody of our child, but they are also fighting the divorce itself. To be honest, I knew he would fight over custody, but I didn't think there was any reason for him to fight over the divorce. I mean, I thought that was what we both wanted. He said that if Elena tried to start something with him, he would be open to it because he was falling out of love with me. Obviously, that meant he didn't want to be with me anymore, and after being lied to like that, I didn't want to stay married either. It was clear that the only way out was to get a divorce, since neither of us wanted to be with the other. I thought it would be pretty easy to solve, but I don't think that's what he wants. But I'm sure he's not doing this because he still loves me. He's doing it because he wants to get control of his child faster. It was probably his family's because he would have tried to get in touch with me or said sorry if he was still in love with me. That's the very least he could have done. That doesn't mean I would have accepted or gone back to him. I don't think any court in the world could force me to stay with him, so fighting the divorce is going to be a waste of time for both of us. It will only make the divorce process take longer and cost more. I don't know what he wants to achieve, but I can promise everyone that it won't work. My lawyer and I have already talked about this, and he thinks that the most he can get out of this is a couple of mediation sessions and maybe some couples therapy. But if I stand my ground and make it clear that I don't want to go back to him, then we will have to get a divorce. I don't know what he's been thinking because I have proof that he wanted to cheat on me. Anyway, they caught me off guard, but I'm ready to fight now. I want to get a divorce and have full control of my child. I am crossing my fingers that everything goes well for me. It doesn't matter how long it takes. I will do everything I can to make sure it does. 3. It's been almost a month since I left home, and our mediation meetings have already begun. A mediator was chosen by the court, and that's where we'll try to settle things first. If that doesn't work, which I hope it does, we'll go to family court. The only way I can see this through is that, since therapy seems like a waste of time. There is a process called mediation for people who think they can work things out without going to court. But I don't think that will work for me and Liam. It's clear that our goals are very different. For example, I want a happy union, while he wants to cheat on me. We are too different for it to work out. Anyway, things have been tough because I've had to see him in person a few times now. It's hard for me because my hormones are all messed up because I'm pregnant, and every time I see him or think about him, I want to cry. That's why it's been so hard for me to stay calm, especially during the mediation meetings when I have to stare at his stupid face. My lawyer told me to stay calm, so that's what I've been doing. During the first couple of sessions, he would try not to look at me at all, which was fine with me. But recently he started trying to at least talk to me, but we had to end those sessions early because I didn't want him to talk to me directly. I only wanted him to talk to me through my lawyer. A few days ago, we had our last mediation session. He stayed quiet the whole time, which meant that another day was lost. As I was leaving, he stopped me and told me that he wanted to talk to me in person. Even though I tried to get around him and leave, he stood in my way and told me he was sorry for everything and didn't want things to end this way. He was making things worse, so I told him that if he really felt sorry for everything, he could show me by agreeing to the divorce and child-sharing terms I had set out and leaving me alone. That's the only way I'd accept his apology. If he wasn't ready to do that, he should have just taken the case to court instead of wasting my time and money. After that, I pushed him away and went back to my car, where I told my lawyer what had happened. After a few days, my lawyer told me today that Liam had sent him an email saying that he was ready to agree to the divorce terms, but wanted to have some custody of our child when our baby was born. I need to think about what I want and choose if that deal is worth my time. It's good that he at least brought this up, though, because I'm tired of fighting and just want this to end. Maybe this is a good thing after all. Update 4. Hi, it's been a few weeks since my last post. I've been very busy since returning to work, and there were some problems with the pregnancy that have been resolved. The bottom line is that my lawyer and I agreed to his terms. We get a divorce, and he gets some control of the kids. Because of this, we made up our minds and told his lawyer as well. Now all that's left is to complete the divorce and finish all the paperwork. Following the plan we made, we stick to it. The deal is fair, and to be honest, I just wanted it to be over. Soon after my lawyer called him, he got in touch with me. I told him I agreed to his terms and would send me an email thanking me for everything. He said, "Sorry again for putting me through this, but it doesn't mean much to me that he did. I'm just glad that I don't have to deal with him anymore and can move on with my life. I'm strong enough to handle the pain. I'll be okay because my folks and friends are with me." New 5. Hi there. A little more than 6 months have passed since my last post, so it's time for me to let you know what's been going on. My life has become all about my beautiful daughter since I gave birth to her last week, and I couldn't be happy about it. Liam really stepped up as a dad and tried to be there for me as much as he could. We tried to be nice to each other because we had to follow through on our co-parenting deal. We don't talk about anything else besides our daughter, which is fine with me because I'm trying to move on from him and heal. To be honest, I think I'm almost there because I don't really feel anything when I see him these days. What I know is that he started dating Elena after the divorce was settled, which I guess is good for him. I'm not interested in dating right now because I only want to be a good mom to my daughter. I'm fully committed to that one job. Liam and I are still trying to figure out how to split up the time we spend with her. Until then, he will have to keep coming to see me at my parents' house to see his daughter. Because everyone wants to see her, my parents have been kind enough to let him and his family stay with us. We're all trying to be polite for her sake. I hope that things will get better soon, but for now, this is good enough for me.